Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for clicking this video. My name is Nicole Nyasha and I share career-related content. So if you enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. In this video, I'm sharing some of my favorite mobile apps as it pertains to work. So this could be any app that helps me stay organized, stay productive, keeps me in the know, basically any app that helps me level up as it pertains to my career. We spend a lot of time on our phones, and if we're going to be spending that much time on our phones, we might as well make sure they're helping us in the things that matter, such as our careers. So I have my mobile phone right here, and I'm gonna get straight into showing you those apps. The app that I use, and I would highly recommend this, is Text Expander. And basically what this does, it helps you to create little short codes for your most frequently used phrases, most frequently used sentences or emails, whatever it is that you type the most or you send across the most. You can create little, shortcuts for it. So if I'm trying to send a new message to somebody on LinkedIn, instead of going to find a message that I sent 3 days ago to somebody else, I can just key in my short code and it's going to auto-populate the entire message for me. And I think that is just so convenient and it helps me save so much time, which helps me be productive. The app I use the most is Samsung Notes, and this can be compared to other productivity apps such as Notion, such as Evernote, basically any app that you can think of that helps you stay organized, helps you plan. My Samsung Notes works in a similar fashion. I really like that it allows me to create checklists, to-do lists. I can also create mood boards. So say I'm scrolling social media and I come across something that might be relevant, I'm able to take a screenshot and then attach that to my notes. I can also attach a link from whatever source, and then I can then refer to these later. Or if I'm on the go and I think of a random idea, or if I need to think of something to contribute to a meeting or questions I want to ask in a meeting, my Samsung Notes really helps me to jot these things down and I can reference to them later. It allows me to create different folders for different aspects of my work, and it just helps me stay organized. I use my Samsung Notes to plan an overview of my month, and then I further break this down into weekly goals, weekly targets, and then I further break this down into daily tasks or daily activities. Now, when it comes to daily tasks and activities, I like to use this alongside my Outlook calendar, and that's the second app that I'll be talking about actually. When it comes to a calendar, it doesn't have to be an Outlook calendar. I like to use Outlook calendar because that's what we use at work. It could be your Google Calendar. It can be any calendar app really, but I like my Outlook calendar because I can sync it with my email. I can sync it to different apps and, sites that we use at work, and it's just more cohesive for me. I think it really helps you save time and be more productive if you time block your tasks and you account for every single hour during your workday. A lot of times we might be working on, say, task A, and then we're done with that particular task, and then we'll spend like 10-15 minutes trying to figure out what to do next. And that 10-15 minutes is time that could have been spent being productive. And that's why you find that sometimes you might not be able to complete all your work during the workday because you have these little gaps of time throughout the day that were unaccounted for. So I like at the beginning of every day to spend 10 or 15 minutes to really plan out what I want to accomplish that day, and then feed those individual tasks into specific time blocks so that I know, for example, between 9 to 10:30, this is what I'm doing, and I can account for the rest of the day. That way I make the most of my work hours, and that leaves me with room and free time after work to focus on whatever else that I want to focus on. Another app I use a lot is Grammarly, and like the word Grammarly itself says, this is basically an app that helps you with spelling and with grammar. So if you're typing an email or creating a document and you've put the wrong spelling or your grammar is off, Grammarly is going to pop up and help you correct that mistake. But more importantly, and even better than helping you with grammar or with spellings, I like that it also helps you determine the tone of your voice when you're typing out emails or creating documents. So if you're the kind of person that's usually very aggressive, Grammarly would point that out and help you maybe to take it down a notch. Or if you're somebody that's a bit more passive and you need to sound a bit more assertive, Grammarly is also going to help you do this. And I think this is so important. It helps you with communication, because at work, you need to communicate well. You need to make sure that you mean what you say and you say what you mean, because whatever you put in writing can be used against you, and you just want to appear professional and put together even in your writing. Another app I really love, but I don't use this so much, is Audible. Now, I really enjoy reading physical books. In fact, if you open any of the books that I've read, they're full of little notes and scribbles, because that's how I take in information. I like to write down notes, scribble, and just make the book my own. But sometimes we're just very busy, and you might enjoy reading physical books like I do, but sometimes you just don't have the time. So what I like to do is I will start my book reading it in the physical form. But if I'm really busy and I'm seeing that maybe, okay, the weeks have gone by, I haven't really had time to pick up a physical book, I will switch to the Audible version, so that instead of doing nothing and, not reading at all, at least I'm still consuming the information by way of listening. So I could do this whilst doing whatever chores. So I could be doing the dishes, for example, and I will just continue listening to the book where I left off when I was reading the physical one. I could do this whilst I am cleaning as well. And so it just helps me, instead of being stagnant and not reading, at least I'm still consuming the information. The next app, and I use this quite a lot, is my Google News app. I like that I can just open my phone, open the app, and it's going to tell me what's going on in Toronto, which is the city that I live in. It's going to tell me what's happening in Ontario, which is the province that I'm in. It'll tell me what's happening in Canada, and I can also filter it to tell me what's going on around the world. No matter what kind of work you do, what kind of industry that you work in, you don't want to be ignorant to what's happening around you, because no man is an island and no company is an island. No matter how big an organization you work for, we are all sort of like an ecosystem, and everybody is dependent on each other. So it's really important that you know what's going on around you. Another news app that I use is called Seeking Alpha, and this one is mostly tailored to financial, the stock market, because I do invest in the stock market, so it's important for me to know what's going on. I like Seeking Alpha because it gives you insights into different companies, their share price, and this is also important no matter what kind of work you're doing, no matter what kind of industry. It's going to give you conversation starters when you're talking to people, if you are, knowledgeable in terms of what's going on in the industry. The next app I'm going to talk about, and maybe not app per se, but apps, is everything that falls under Microsoft. So when it comes to Microsoft, I use, first of all, the Outlook, which is my email. That's what we use for work. So I like that I can actually access my Outlook on my mobile phone. So even if I'm on the go, I still have access to my email. And I mean, it's good to be careful with this, because you don't want to be so addicted to your work email that even after hours, even on weekends, you're still checking your work email. But I think it's just good to have it. You can let people know if something is important. I also use everything, documents, Excel, PowerPoint. I love having this on my phone, so that if somebody sends me an Excel document, for example, via email, I'm able to open it on my phone. I'm able to edit it on my phone, as opposed to just having to rely on being on my computer and on my desktop. Another one that I use a lot is Microsoft Teams. That's how we have internal meetings at work. Or if I need to have a meeting with a candidate, I typically will use Microsoft Teams. Another app I use a lot is Focus Keeper, and this is basically an app that helps you stay focused on a specific task for a specific period of time. So you can set it, say, for 30 minutes or 45 minutes. And for that 30 or 45 minutes, you stay hardcore focused on that specific task. You don't touch your phone, you don't touch anything else. And after that 30 minutes or 45 minutes, your phone's going to beep. You can set it to whatever you want. And then you know that, okay, you've completed this task. You can take a quick break, and then you can set it again for another task. I find that this helps me to be so much more productive when I take, short little tasks in different segments, rather than trying to be laser focused for an entire 3 to 4 hours. And, I just end up frustrated and not giving off my best. One of my favorite apps is the alarm clock. And I feel like this is really underrated, but I like my alarm clock because it helps me keep in check with my routine. And when I'm in check with my routine, I'm a happier person and I'm able to give off my best when it comes to work. So I use my alarm clock, first of all, to remind me when it's time to go to bed. I'm typically supposed to be in bed by 9 p.m., so I have it set for 8:45 to remind me that, okay, you have about 15 minutes to complete whatever it is that you're doing and get into bed. And then I need to be up by midnight for my prayers. So I have it set for 11:45 so that 11:45 I wake up, I do my skincare routine for the night so that I'm fully awake for my prayers by midnight. And then I have it set for 6:15 because typically I will wake up by 6. Naturally, I'll wake up by 6, but I have it set for 6:15 so that for whatever reason, if I don't wake up, at least I'll be out of bed by 6:30 a.m. the latest, and I can get started with my day instead of having to rush and, just be flustered with my day because I didn't wake up on time. The last but certainly not the least, and in my opinion, actually the most important app is LinkedIn. Now, if you're a career professional and you're not on LinkedIn, what are you even doing? I love LinkedIn for connecting with people. I use it in my job because I do work in recruitment. I use it to learn because there's so many, thought leaders that I follow that share useful information. I use it to get industry insights. You can do so much on LinkedIn. And so that is all the apps that I wanted to share with you guys, the 10 mobile apps that I think can really help you to level up in your career. Let me know in the comment section if you use any of these apps, or if any of them you've never thought about them, but after watching this video you think you might consider them. Thank you so much for watching again. God bless you. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and I will see you in the next one.